Okay, so greetings. My name is Maha. I'm professor of artificial intelligence at Euromed University of Fes in Morocco. And I'm also the chairholder of Artificial Women in Science, Artificial Intelligence and Future Chair. So I'm going to start with a story. So 6 years ago, I was doing my PhD. I started my PhD actually in Canada in artificial intelligence applied to mobility. And at that time, very few globally, very few companies, local authorities, and even governments were thinking and were involved in mobility, smart mobility projects. Now, why do I tell you this? Because according to the recent numbers, the global smart mobility market size and share revenue is expected to grow from 36 billion in 2020 to reach 88 billion USDs in 2026. That's an exponential growth. When we are talking about smart mobility, we can think about it from a perspective of transport sector, which include electrical cars, autonomous cars, electrical buses, by technology, and here we're talking about 5G, RFID, embedded systems, by traffic management, including intelligent transportation system, real-time management fleet, by charging infrastructure, in-house, public charging stations, e-parking, by mobility intelligence, smart maps, secured communication, by customer mobility, smart payments, smart parking, and so forth and so on. So the objective today is to try to respond to the following question: how AI can redefine mobility. And I want to first start with the fuel of artificial intelligence, which is data. So let's see some numbers. In 2005, we have created 130 exabytes. In 2010, we have created 1,200 exabytes. In 2015, 7,900 exabytes, while last year only, we have created 14,900 exabytes. These are numbers. In fact, let's do a small exercise. Let's try to convert these numbers into a curve. The curve is gonna be exponential, as expected. But the most important aspect when we are talking about this curve is when we overlay on it other dimensions. For example, data scientists can only process up to 5,000 exabytes. Machines, standard computers, they can process around 12,000 exabytes. So here comes the question: how can we reach what we are, how can we process what we are creating now? So here comes the role of AI, of artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence aims to leverage the data processing to try to take benefit from all the data that we are collecting and that we are gathering. Okay, that was enough for the introduction. Now, we know that smart city activities and technologies are collecting data. And we also know that these data make us understand the complexity of the behavior and the dynamic in a city. But then, what is the role of AI? AI is taking, and here I'm citing, So AI is taking the cities to the next step of using this knowledge gathered from data to support decision making. And I really do like this concept of supporting decision making. The interest of how we can integrate artificial intelligence into mobility has gained so much popularity and interest that a new concept has appeared recently, which is urban artificial intelligence. And this concept can be defined as artifacts operating in cities which are capable of acquiring and making sense of information on the surrounding environment, helping to acquire knowledge to act rationally according to predefined goals, even when information is missing. And last fact and figure that I'm going to present in this slide is that by 2025, AI is expected to enable over 13% of smart city applications, among which we find smart mobility solutions. And that will greatly impact the resilience of our cities, the sustainability of our cities, and most of all, it's going to contribute to our social welfare. Okay. Then, so there is a logic in what I'm presenting. We started by the question of AI, then defining the amount of data, then how AI is using this data, and finally, from where can we get the data? So AI is fed by data as an input, and these data can come from existing infrastructures. For example, traffic controller detection, cameras, urban centrals. It might come from fleet data when it comes to car probe data, e-bike fleets, public transportation, but also from a third-party data. Either it's public or private. I'm going to start with this sentence. AI is changing the paradigm of mobility. Let's see how. The shift toward an AI-enabled smart mobility will definitely impact all the value chains that we know now. And that will push the stakeholders of mobility services to rethink and to abandon completely their very hierarchical or linear structure into a more coordinated network-like structure, like we see, where every service provider is connected and is sharing information. Now, we're coming to the use cases. So we are claiming that AI is involved in smart mobility from the design to the control of the transportation. So let's see how. I can't talk about AI in mobility if I don't tackle the autonomous vehicles, the AVs. So where we are talking about self-driving cars, we are targeting the cars that can make decisions, that can control some operations. And these AVs are based on AI because they use sensors, cameras, embedded systems, and of course, artificial intelligence. So I'm not gonna tackle all the AI aspects in an AV, but I'm gonna focus more on computer vision. So in an autonomous car, machine learning algorithms are used to detect objects and to interpret images. Let's take a simple example. If you think about the triangular sign, if you use on it some machine learning or deep learning algorithm, it's gonna extract some points as references, and then when a car is driving, it's gonna easily recognize the triangular sign. And this is the case not only for a sign, but as you can see in the picture, for a tree, for a pedestrian, for another car, for a traffic light, everything which is included in the driving before this second use case, let's focus on one number. Recently, McKinsey did a study where where it claimed that the car sharing revenues are gonna grow fourfold by 2025, and that's very huge. So applications as short carpooling, short distance carpooling, they are already in a lot of countries, and they're gonna become even more popular. So typically short distance carpooling are addressed primarily to people who wanna commute from and toward the same areas. So artificial intelligence is used in carpooling services to personalize and to customize at a maximum possible degree the service offerings. For example, companies can customize the rate for a given customer depending on its profile. It can also personalize the recommendation based on the time of the use. And we can also, on the age of operational research and artificial intelligence, try to better allocate cars within a certain region, knowing that we can predict the demand, the future demand. Okay, then the third use case that I'm gonna tackle today is smart parking management. So the complexity of transportation has drastically increased, and with that, causing parking problems or parking issues. So it becomes very interesting to use technology to try to better manage the parking. IoT and machine learning techniques are used to answer the real-time management issues. I'm going to present a use case that was developed in Morocco, and more precisely at Euromed University of Fes. It's called S-Finder. It's an application which uses computer vision techniques to first identify what are the slots, and then it delimits a slot. Second, it identifies either it's occupied or free. So here, when you see the red and the green colors. And third service that this application is offering is that you can book at somehow your place few minutes before your arrival. Okay, next, predicting traffic conditions. So we all know ITS, intelligent transportation systems, are developed using historical data. These data are gathered from sensors in the ground or in the infrastructure, if we're talking more generally. Then these data are fed into algorithms, AI algorithms, and then we have an answer. As this answer is, for example, what would be the travel speed in the next arterial, for example. I'm going to show a use case. So when I was in Canada, I've been developing this application in my previous team, and that was motivated by a lot of things, among them that Montreal was, congestion was really costly. It costs $1.7 billion dollars to Montreal, making it the second most congested city in Canada. Then, if we think about the economic sector, so transportation is a very important economic sector in Canada, since it allows 225 billion ton-kilometers of freight were moved in Canada, 61 of which was intended to the domestic sector. And finally, if we think ecology, or if we think, for example, of the carbon footprint, then road freight transportation is counting off 37% of the greenhouse gas emissions. So these are few motivations, the main motivations, let's say. So we have worked with an industrial partner. This industrial partner has equipped his truck fleet with sensors. These sensors were collecting GPS traces while serving customers or while answering customers' requests. So we did a proof of concept on Montreal City. Montreal, not really Montreal City, the great region of Montreal, la région métropolitaine de Montréal. This includes the island, the Montreal Island, the Laval Island, and some suburbans, as you can see in the heat map. So just to have an idea about the size of the database that we were collecting, this industrial partner has served nearly 2,500,000 requests, so customers basically, using 200,000 routes. That's huge. So the mandate was very clear: developing an AI platform to predict the travel speeds on a given street, for example, or on a given arc. This is more technical, in a very dense urban road network. So we involved AI from the geometric aspect to the data engineering to the dimensionality reduction, and finally using quite complicated architectures to predict the travel speed on the given arc. Okay, so all the concepts that I was talking about, the use cases that I was presenting, and even what we are going to tackle during this session are somehow contributing to the concept of mobility as a service, MaaS. So what is mobility as a service? In its purest form, mobility as a service is an all-in-one smart online platform capable of providing integrated journey planning, booking, smart ticketing, real-time information system, so on and so forth. So everything we were talking about is included in the concept of MaaS, which is mobility as a service. Why MaaS is so important when we are talking about urban mobility? Because simply if this MaaS, this concept is realized, then we can drastically increase the safety, the efficiency, the decarbonization rate, the air quality. We can increase it. We can at the same time decrease the noise pollution, the costs, and the traffic congestion. And this is not an exhaustive list of benefits. Okay. So I'm going to conclude with some findings and recommendation. And honestly, I do find that this slide is so much important because this is to say that AI is a powerful tool to drive a sustainable transition toward a more resource-efficient, livable, and human-centric mobility. So everything we are talking about, we should include the human at the center of it. Also, the communication or the involvement of the public and the private sectors. Public sector smart mobility solutions must be implemented by private and public stakeholders with direct and indirect consequences for both. And public sector has to ensure that AI solutions to be developed has to be inclusive, secure, counting on reliable, non-biased, and fairly shared data. Thank you for your attention.
So, hello to everybody. I am Milouki Anas, head of the Toll Technology Division from the National Motorways Company of Morocco. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude and my joy to participate in this great international event and briefly present to you the major projects of the company. Allow me to start this presentation by a corporate video of the company, and then we can continue the presentation.
His Majesty King Mohammed VI, may God assist him, the national motorway network has expanded substantially. increasing in length from 400 to 1,800 kilometers, thus becoming the second largest motorway network in Africa. Morocco now has wide expertise in development and operation with a dynamic and competitive ecosystem that makes Morocco a center of excellence for the motorway sector. المغرب السيار. Since 2015, the Moroccan National Motorway Company has embarked on a major transformation project that had a direct impact on both the industrialization and modernization of operations, as well as on the development of services and financial engineering to deeply embed and perpetuate the company's core values. In addition to its unwavering commitment to construct quality roads and preserve the national motorway heritage, ADM now places the citizen road user at the heart of its mission, mainly through digitalization. Up until now, nearly 1.5 million Jawaz passes have been in use, smoothing traffic flow even during peak periods. An ambitious project will soon enable the use of the Jawaz Pass on European motorways to better serve Moroccans worldwide and facilitate the movement of professionals and individuals who travel between the two shores of the Mediterranean. ADM is also persistently investing in the modernization, densification, and maintenance of service areas, with the aim of providing road users with rest areas to improve their safety. For real-time tracking and automated traffic management, ADM launched the Central Control Room in Rabat. Equipped with the latest technology, the room enables remote and centralized traffic supervision, automatic and real-time monitoring of field equipment, as well as constant communication and coordination between the actors involved in the field. In addition to its interactive application, ADM Trafic, the company is working towards the launch of the first Moroccan motorway radio station, entirely dedicated to real-time traffic info, to improve safety, smooth out traffic flow, and provide road users with useful real-time information. ADM has also made innovation and R&D a major focus of its development. By forging partnerships with various Moroccan universities, the company is working towards the deployment of 100% Moroccan innovative solutions to optimize infrastructure sustainability and deliver excellent customer service. Through ADM Academy, the company helps its employees acquire the skills required to function effectively in the new motorway positions emanating from the transformation project, and shares its know-how by training African executives on ADM's methodologies and processes. Since its creation, ADM has been strongly committed to making the motorway a joyful passageway, positively impact the territories it crosses, and preserve the environment sustainably. This commitment is translated into community programs aimed at people living near motorways in the fields of education, research, and innovation. Building on this momentum that is dynamic, optimistic, and aligned with Morocco's new development model, the Moroccan National Motorway Company wishes to sustain its development and pursue its mission.
So after this video, we will start by a presentation of the company, some key figures, and after that we will talk about the major project of the company. So the National Motorway Company of Morocco is a limited company established in 1989 with a current share capital of $1.7 billion, and the main shareholders are the National General Treasury and Hassan II funds. After 32 years of existence, according to the World Economic Forum, ADM becomes the first motorway, the best motorway in North Africa and the second in all Africa, in terms of the road quality and also in terms of length of the motorway with 1,800 kilometers. Now let's see some key figures. ADM operates like 102 toll stations and 60 service areas to serve 1.5 million Jawaz customers and 1.2 daily million passengers in 500 500,000 vehicles. We have several types of cameras on the motorway network, toll cameras and video surveillance cameras with a total of 600. In addition, 100 thermal and intelligent camera for key structure. 80 overpasses with equipped in video surveillance, 35 variable message signs, and more than 300 traffic counting stations. We have exactly 1,651 work hours between pedestrian works, overpasses and underpasses, and canopies, etc. So this diverse infrastructure and these innovative services are clearly at the service of the user customer. This is aligned with the company strategy, which is focused on the customer's satisfaction. For that, a roadmap concerning the safety of the customer and also the traffic flow has been adopted. Firstly, we have deployed a large number of cameras, whether at toll stations or at overpasses or even along the highway. We installed also a video surveillance platform, set up a regional and central roam control, and finally, we did install many sites of the police and civil protection. So this picture clearly shows the number of cameras installed along the highway. By the way, this picture is taken from our traffic apps, ADM Traffic. The first major project that we have chosen to present to you is the Traffic Control Center. It's located in the capital, Rabat, equipped with the latest technology, in particular the direct LED image wall of 12.25 meters square. It allows to remote control of all field equipment, including cameras, traffic data stations, etc. It contains operational support solution and tools, and it gives reliable real-time information. This diagram shows how the information is transferred from the field to the regional control room and then to the central control room by several means of communication. After that, the information is shared with our call center and in the near future with our dedicated radio, ADM radio. Let's move right now to the second big project, the automation program. This program was really initiated by the great success of the ETC tags, JAWAZ products. Since 2017, the strategy pursued by ADM has convinced more than 1 million additional users to use JAWAZ compared to the target initially set in 2017, which provided for reaching the emblematic threshold of 1 million between 2023 and 2025. JAWAZ is therefore at least 3 years ahead of the original schedule. The impact of this acceleration is very important on the organization of toll stations. So for that, since 2018, ADM have launched a transformation project of his motorway network based on the automation program with the following stated objectives. Always the customer satisfaction is in the center of the project. JAWAZ is the main means of payments with an objective of 80% of digital revenue. Deployments of remote jobs including teleassistance. Primarily a role of video surveillance for communication, supervision, back office, and remote jobs. For this program, ADM obtains an investment budget of approximately $100 million US, and this program is structured in 5 parts. The first one is the toll automation and digitalization of the processing of toll transaction. Supervision developments, implementation of a traffic supervision and network monitoring solution, digitalization of customer relation and development in the front office, digitalization of maintenance sector, and at the end, network and telecommunication reinforcements. So after only 2 years, now we have the main station are more secure, more clean, and more homogeneous. We did reach 70% of digital revenue, and we did install several toll lanes, and the installation of a new generation of equipment have been launched and still continuing. We're talking about automation rebound barriers, assignment lights, toll cameras, intercom equipment, etc. Then we will present to you 2 projects for the future. This one will be done in the next few weeks. This is the first multi-lane free flow in Morocco, and it will be the first multi-lane free flow gate in the North Africa. The principle is that the vehicle is detected, classified, and tracked by a set of equipment, mainly an LPR cameras, a classification system, and an electronic toll antenna. So at the end, we have an information about the vehicle, which is the front LPR, the rear LPR, and also the information about his tags, and also the speed. The second big project planned soon is the teleassistance to unlock clients remotely, and it's planned for the first part of 2022. The principle is that we will be able to access in real time to the toll lane by the corresponding camera and also the side intercom to unblock the customer. For this part, allow me to present 2 use cases of the exploitation of new technology in daily operation of ADM. The first one is the utilization of artificial intelligence for the classification of the vehicles. For the context, now we have in our lanes, depending on the type of the lanes, many means of classification. For example, in manual lanes, there is the class tabulated by the cashier and the class given by sensors after the transaction. In our ETC lanes, we have a system that we call all optical detection that gives a class in the entry and in the exit of the vehicle. And also we have operator who works on the disparencies of classes that give also a class. So we have many information about the same class. In the end, the observation that we did record a few cases of class disparencies, on average 2%. And for this 2%, we did think about using artificial intelligence for automatic qualification. So we did use a model that learned from 40,000 electronic tool image, and we did use Google Cloud to do the work, and only after 1 week of training by transfer of learning, we did reach a rate of accuracy of 95%. Now the model is still always improving to get a better results. So the picture shows, for example, depending or in based of one image, the class with the accuracy of 0.99228. This is a class 1. The second use case is the payments only by the information of license plates. The principle is simple. With the LPR cameras, we can get the information about the license plate. It's sent to the toll lanes, which is verified by the information received by the central system in a whitelist. And if the balance are okay and all the verification is okay, the authorization can be done for the vehicle. The last part of this presentation sets our ADM commitment to these neighbors and to the environment. So ADM attaches particular importance to its nearby communities, especially the neighboring community who have seen their environments modified after crossing the motorway. ADM also make environmental responsibility a real issue. So several concrete programs have been put in place, materializing the commitments to nearby communities and to environments. The first one is in partnership with the Ministry of Education. ADM has launched a program to maintain school bordering highways and also to educate young people about safety. And until now, we did maintain like 52 neighbor schools, and we did it with the employees of ADM as a volunteer sponsor and monitor of this operation. And the second program is the Green Program. Is a program to intend to preservation to the environment, and it's aimed to reduce our carbon footprint. And the actions have been taken. A dry compaction technique. This technique has saved about 4 billion liters of water in the construction of infrastructure. Compensation of the carbon footprint by planting 3.5 million trees, reclamation of water collected from the motorway platform and its sanitation structure to reuse for irrigation, and selective and integrated management of collected waste and their recycling. Thank you for your attention.
So, good day to everybody. First of all, I want to thank you to the Moroccan Pavilion for invitation today. My name is Marco Jajo. I'm the Business Developer Manager of LTS AG. This is a company in Switzerland, and we developed the first energy self-sufficient ground sensor for park management system and also traffic management systems. So, let's talk today about innovation in traffic and parking. First of all, I want to mention some challenges in this area. I listed some well-known challenges. So the first point, you can see congestion during the evening peaks. So this is a well-known problem. After work, you want to go home, have dinner with family, and yes, then you have to stay in a traffic jam. Honestly, this is horrible. Yes, and this has a negative impact in terms of room, place, and also in time, and with a corresponding negative effect to air and climate. Then we have a limited space for road and parking spots. This is also a problem that is well known. And the ever-decreasing supply of parking spaces. And this increases also the search time for a parking spot, and at the end also the carbon emission increases because it takes longer time to find a free slot. So, what are the opportunities now? Before I talk about the opportunities, I want to present our product, what we are doing to, at the end, better connect this information. So, in application now in the roads are common to use induction loops. This is, you can see these lines here, and this works with magnetic field, and they recognize vehicle, for example, or you can use it for traffic light control and so on. But the problem is, it's very expensive to install this. You have to mill up the ground, blocked roads, and the effect of this are congestion diversations. And yes, then the city of Zurich, So I have to mention we are from Switzerland. The city of Zurich came to us and asked to find a solution, so to create a sensor which is maybe energy self-sufficient and that can reduce the costs from the induction loops. And what we did, we developed the first energy self-sufficient ground sensor for, as I mentioned, traffic and parking management systems. So what is special about this sensor? As I mentioned, energy self-sufficient. You can see it on the picture on the top. One source is solar, and the other source is the difference from the temperature outside and inside, so we can generate energy. Without any source, the sensor can survive 72 days. So what is also important, and why I take the sensor with me, is the installation. So we have the housing, which will be installed in the ground with a core hole drilling method. So then we have the inner life of the sensor, which can just put in the housing. So this is a very high benefit if you want to replace the sensor, or if you have some maintenance work. You just have to go to the sensor, to the housing, replace it, and it's done within 5 minutes. So then we have two detection methods. One is magnetic field, another is a radar. So we can also detect detect classification of cars and so on. Here is the architecture, how it works. So a car is crossing the sensor, or better said, the gateway receives the data from the sensors and send it to a cloud or a server infrastructure. And from there, and this is a very important point, we can collect every data and do analysis. And here comes the word smart city. So with this data, everything is possible, or a lot is possible when we reproduce it in the right way. So, for example, in Switzerland, when a policeman or policewoman have to check the parking lots, they go today to parking meters and check every single parking lot, and this is not efficient. So on our platform, you can plan your route and see in advance which parking lot is expiring. And so you can plan in a very efficient way. Our long-term vision is to have all the data collected and that we can allocate it to the navigation system of the cars. So this means when, for example, I drive through Rabat, I can put in the address, and then the navigation system should me tell in 5 minutes you will find a free lot on the right side. But I will go deeper in after the next slides. Use cases. So our sensor has yes, a huge amount of use cases. We can use it, as I mentioned, for parking, for vehicle counting, for traffic signal control, and so on. So now opportunities. What is very important, how we can reduce emissions and also be more efficient in the way of mobility, is using dynamic pricing. This means that if a demand surplus is actually here, then you can act with lower costs, or when you have with higher costs, excuse me, or when in the other way around, when you have high prices, you can go through with a demand surplus. So what we also want to collect is all this data to improve the traffic management, to have a better traffic flow. And the real-time data is also important for urban planning. So when you know where are the biggest emissions or where are the biggest hotspots with where the cars are driving, then you can better planning the urban around. And now the last point is saving time. So for me personally, it's time is the most valuable good. And yeah, you can have houses, you can have cars, you can have family, whatever, but when you don't have time to spend with your family or to use your items, whatever, then it's nothing worth. So on the roads, 30 to 40% is search traffic. And mostly in Europe, 40 hours per person is used to find the parking lot. So if you can reduce this, you can also have more time for other stuffs. And this is what we want to do. We want to reach the last mile. Because for me personally, when I go to Zurich, for example, for an appointment, then I'm always at time there. But then I have to look and check where is a free parking lot. So what are you doing? I'm looking, at the end, I'm too late at the meeting, and yes, I have to find some arguments why I'm late. So our idea is, as I mentioned before, to provide every navigation system with our data so that you can plan your route and that you can say, okay, in 5 minutes you will find there and there a parking lot, and from there it takes you about, let's say, 2 minutes to your final destination. And so we want to reach the last mile. So thank you for your attention.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Please, can you hear me? Hello? Okay. At first, let me just introduce myself. I'm Ms. Besharina Serra, and I'm the head of marketing department at the ONCF for passenger activity. Today, it's a really great pleasure for me to participate at this international event. I will try through my speech to briefly present the ONCF digital strategy, which aims to innovate services offered to passengers. I would just like to thank the translation team, since I would make my presentation in French to be clear. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Can you see it? Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Très bien. Donc, je vais démarrer cette présentation qui s'articule sur principalement 5 points et je vais essayer d'être bref et concise. Donc, dans un premier temps, je vais rappeler un peu le profil ONCF avec quelques indicateurs clés.
ONCF, and then we're going to move to the second point, which is innovation through big structural projects at the Maracas National Railways office that allowed us to develop our innovation strategy in mobility. Third, we will be focusing on the regional services with some indicators. I will also be presenting the different axes at the regional level. Fourth, we will be discussing the digital transformation plan that goes hand in hand with this development project, and we will be concluding with the digital services serving mobility of passengers and aiming to improve their mobility. Very well, so I'm gonna start with the profile of the ONCF that has today 6,500 collaborators. We are currently working on 4,000 kilometers of roads and own 650 cars, 5,100 wagons. In terms of our turnover, 38 million passengers, and concerning the passenger activities, we have developed high-speed railways Al-Buraq, as well as Al-Atlas intercity lanes in the southern part of Morocco, and the high-speed rails with a short distance high-speed rate, so we can serve the several segments of passengers that are moving for different reasons, such as entertainment, work, tourism. And we had around $0.7 billion of investment per year, and the share of ONCF in the GDP is 7.8%, and we are in the 33rd rank internationally, and we are ranking first in Africa. Here, I will be speaking about our evolution since 2018. We had huge projects. Some of them have allowed us to expand today. First, the high-speed rail, which was very innovative between Tanger and Casablanca. It's a real achievement in the history of Morocco and for the African continent. This high-speed rail today applies the best technologies in the kingdom and has a lot of industrial and technical and human aspect. We've also reinforced the rail that is very demanded today. It's Kenitra Casablanca, which has witnessed the tripling of the number of passengers. Lately, you can see that in the diagram. It links the north, the east, and the south of the country. So we are registering an increase in the number of passengers that are using this lane. This lane, without tripling, had a very high saturation rate, so we needed at some point to triple it. and this has allowed us to increase our capacity today and strengthen our services through this lane. It has also allowed us to add more attractive services that can serve better the needs of the community. The third project, which is also extremely important, doubling the rail between Casablanca and Marrakesh. Over the years, the demand for rail transport has gradually increased. So it was obvious that we needed at the socio-economical and cultural level to continue to expand this lane. So this has allowed us to better serve people with an increasing mobility. So this doubling project was put in place in order to increase the capacity of lane and its competitivity. We have also started ambitious plans and projects. And today we are trying to increase the security of these partners, and we have also started the modernizations of stations. So today, the station that is considered as a point of transit, as a stop, is given a great importance, given into consideration that they have turned into a multi-functional and multi-use place for passengers and visitors. So these projects have allowed us to increase our capacity and the frequency, and also they help the flow of passengers and the possibility of adding high-value services. This has allowed us over the years to start a new commercial strategy that is focused on digital and which allows to develop the traffic. It's a commercial strategy that is based on a new concept of travel and mobility, and that allows us also to focus on very important values and making the train accessible for all categories, and adding innovative offers that cater to everyone's need in terms of diversifying the channels of distribution. This was also important in order to improve communication and increase customer confidence. Also in terms of loyalty, client loyalty, this is a field that is of great importance to us, and this also allowed us to improve our relations with the clients and to analyze all their needs so we can make sure that the services meet the needs of passengers and, of course, enhance communication. I would like now to emphasize mobility at the regional level, and we have 4 lanes here that are interconnected through the center of Morocco and opening several corridors. The first level is a level of a rail train and the high speed rails and the intercity and interregional transportation. The second level is the high speed trains These four regional services happen at two levels. So we have Casa Rabat Kenitra, Casa Aéroport, Casa Airport, Casa Al Jadid, and Casa Setat. And this has allowed us to open a whole interconnected network. In terms of performance, at the regional services level. So today we are at 73% of global level, so 164 trains daily that circulate on these rails with 57% of global traffic and contribution of 28% of global travelers and 18 million travel and 93% of regularity and 88% of satisfaction. So this is based on our percentages at the ONCF. With all these elements, and for the future, we have established at the ONCF a scheme that allows us to identify long-term plans, taking into consideration the railways and the routes at the regional level. So you can look at this map in order to understand further the services and how we are trying to target all regions. Concerning the future of regional transport, the demand is increasing and it is quite justified. 85% of the population lives in a served basin or potentially saved by rails. 2 over 3 will live in the future at close to 15 kilometers from a rail, and we are expecting a growing population that is in favor of rail transport. So this is why we are looking forward today to improve our regional services so we can meet these growing needs. So 8 basins of regional movement around rail hubs in order to ensure a coherence between regional services and big lanes services, and the construction of regional services in order to organize in parallel to the high-level rail. In order to adapt better to these projects and amid the technological transportation and revolution, all of the sectors are trying to adapt. ONCF has announced in 2011 its digital transformation. It is highly important for the growth and development of our company. And in terms of planning, and it's also an opportunity in order to understand better the changes happening in the market and to enhance the creation of value and the client satisfaction and take advantage of artificial intelligence. So our digital strategy focuses on 5 levels. First, innovation and the services in terms of relations with customers and partners. Second, industrial and economic performance. Third, transformation towards a digital culture. Fourth, it's the efficient governance in digital. And fifth, agility and cybersecurity and the digital confidence. we have also announced in 2018 an open innovation program, and we have also started a hackathon under the theme experience client passenger, in order to innovate in the services addressing passenger clients, and in order to enhance the creation and development of startups at the national level. So here in the last part, I would like to speak about our digital services in order to enhance mobility and improve mobility. First, it is important to speak first about axes, strategic axes, 6 of them, in order to improve the client experience. These axes cover all of the passenger track. First, we have the intermodal offer. We have a transportation, complementary transportation service. Second, it's the online purchase of tickets. Third, and this is also a very important and fundamental aspect, which is the passengers' information or travelers' information. Fourth, client satisfaction and client relation, in order to better manage customer relations. And fifth, better listening to the needs of clients. And sixth, which is the social hub, which allows us to manage our reputation on social media. And this is something growing in importance. So first, concerning the first aspect of intermodal offer and our strategy, ONCF offers complementary services to the train in order to provide a comprehensive package of services that allows us to better cater to the needs of clients. This is very important, so we can build on the experience that we have in this domain. And here I would like to emphasize that for us, the client track starts when the client thinks of traveling, and ever since the beginning of the track of the passenger and until the final destination, which is not the final station, but also the final experience, the final destination. This is for us something highly important, because it allows us to use several types of transport. So here we can see that this mobility solution allows further connection and openness to the market. So we have the train plus automobile. This is a track that we have set up. Whereas it's possible to use several types of transportation. So we have also train plus ferry plus airplane train plus tram. So it all allows us to increase connection and to be open to foreign destinations. And when the passenger decides to buy their ticket to visit Morocco, they can also use the train for local transportation with with several destinations available. The train plus buses, it's an offer of it offers new destinations, and the aim is to be open to new bus companies in order to increase the number of destinations. and to reach more areas. We have also train plus tram. It's very important as it's available in Rabat and in Casablanca. So all of these solutions are available today and aim at ensuring a better mobility, a flowing mobility, and through a virtual online ticket reservation. This is our e-com website, and this is our second aspect regarding our digital services. In order to improve our mobility, this site, e-com, is very user-friendly because it makes the experience of purchasing the ticket very easy. It's has been shaped and built based on the needs of passengers and in order to serve all categories of passengers. For example, the people who have a membership, people who have discount cards, and this website allows passengers to save time, especially during peak hours, and to benefit from a completely comprehensive online purchase. So the passenger can buy their ticket virtually, and this also allows the client to benefit from certain discounts because we are looking forward to increase our services, our online services. I would also like to emphasize more aspects of virtual purchase of tickets. This is also possible internationally and in foreign countries. And within our digital transformation, it is possible to use your M-wallet in order to place your tickets in your basket. Third, we have the information channels for passengers. Through these channels allow us to feed the customers with the necessary information. There are several channels that try to target many segments of passengers. We have a real-time application that updates the clients on the traffic status and through which the client receives notifications and information provided by the several transportation methods. So this application gives notifications regarding the traffic status and several notifications regarding the itinerary of passengers, and it can be used simply through a very simple software during the travel time. It also provides the client with assistance services in case of a specific need. There's also a hotline that can be used and a chatbot that allows to initiate a conversation with the stakeholders in case of any incident. In this case, the client is informed of any update. The second channel is, again, the chat box, which enhances today the customer relations and this chatbot today aims to increase access to information. It's available to all passengers. It provides virtual assistance, real-time assistance, and 24/7 in order to make the passenger experience smoother. The chatbot today uses Arabic and the Moroccan dialect and French. It also answers questions in written and the audio questions, and it also deals with the information requests concerning the timetable and the prices, and it also provides assistance in terms of ticket purchasing. And there is also the website ONCF 2255.ma that is being improved gradually. So this website has been initiated and that allows to follow up on certain complaints that are made by clients. And we deal with complaints in a very efficient manner, so we can better serve our clients. There is also another service that is available today in stations. It's the Wi-Fi service that is granted to all of the passengers at the station. This connection is free, and it can be used in a very simple manner. It's you only have to connect to our Wi-Fi on mobile phones, which allows the passenger to improve their experience at the station, because clients sometimes have to wait at the station and therefore can benefit from this service and use social media or internet connection for any other purpose. The fourth aspect, which is customer relation or client relation at the ONCF, we have our software for customer relation management, and we are focusing on this in our marketing department through marketing automation and the marketing campaign. So we are constantly interacting with customers at this stage, and the aim is to manage and improve our status in the market. So we have also launched marketing campaigns in terms of automation, and we are also trying to manage the prospects and expectations, and also we are trying to create a connection between the several departments so as to better serve the client 360 degrees. So now we are at the fifth aspect, the fifth axis. We at the ONCF give a great importance to the opinion of customers. This is why we have created a digital experience that allows them to rate their level of satisfaction. We would like to listen to their opinion and regarding the travel, and this will allow us to complete our digital transformation. It also allows us to better serve the connected customers through continuous evaluation of their experience and their needs. We have also conducted several campaigns in order to identify specific needs in terms of marketing. We have also digitalized the Client Mystère or mysterious customer. It's a mobile application that allows us to improve our services and to send real-time notifications to the employees so they can answer the demands of the customers and analyze information. And six, and this is the last aspect, which is the social hub. And as we know, it's part of the necessary technology today in order to take advantage of social media. We have accounts on several social media platforms, including Facebook and Instagram. We're also available on YouTube. So these are basically the social media platforms where we are present. We are trying to make use of the several information channels in order to promote our passenger products, and through a strategy that focuses on content, interaction, and efficient presence on social media platform. We are open in order to identify the needs of our community and passengers. So it's a social media strategy that meets the needs of passengers and seeking to raise awareness about our news, our information. We have also used several mechanisms that allow us to ensure our social presence, and it is also possible for the passengers to make ticket purchases through these social media platforms. So here, by this, I would like to conclude my presentation, and thank you for your attention.
Yes. Well, thank you, dear speakers, for your all. I think we all had a lot of synergies and shared interests on what we were doing today, and inspired by all what have been said by the speakers, we'll try to debate around two different aspects. The first one is going to be the costs, as expected. And the second one is going to be around the regulatory framework. So every change, even the most positive one, as it is the case of smart cities, urban mobility, and rural mobilities, are implying costs. And those costs, in the majority of time, they are not necessarily evenly and fairly distributed among those who are going to benefit at the end from this change. And when it comes to artificial intelligence applied in smart mobility, this AI is affecting a lot of value chains and stakeholders well established. So my question, what do you think is the best strategy to tackle the huge investments in smart infrastructures? Do we have, for example, to break down smart mobility projects into phases, starting with low investment, narrow-scale initiatives that can provide initial value, or to choose an all-in-one investment strategy? Let's start by Mr. Malouki from ADM.
Yes, first of all, thank you for this question, and please allow me to answer in French so I can be as clear as possible. So, for me, je pense que pour réussir
For me, I
une
think that in order
transformation
to
digitale,
succeed with a digital transformation and to create smart routes, we should invest the necessary budget under two conditions. First, to take the best technical choice that is convenient for the context of the country, and the second condition is to try to set forth a very well-thinked purchase policy. First, it has to rely on an encouragement of competitiveness between suppliers, and second, enhance the local and national ecosystem. I would like to cite an example of our automation program that has allowed us to transform the motorway. It's a program that has obtained a huge budget of 1 billion dirhams. So we are here talking about a range of $100 million. And today, we are at 20% of budget use. What we've done so far is first to take the necessary time in order to take the right technical choices, do the tests and pilots, decide what to do so we can do a fast and expanded deployment. But we've taken all the necessary time to choose the partners, the suppliers, and the solutions before starting. This program is still ongoing, and we are still looking for partners, but this is the main idea behind it. It is about thinking well the projects, the partners, and to always encourage the local ecosystem, because at the end of the day, we are talking here about a huge transformation projects. So the aim is also to encourage and boost the national economy and the SMEs. So for me, this is the right strategy in order to start these projects of automation and digital transformation.
We encourage local investment that will finally create value, and that might be clearly one way to reduce the cost finally. Thank you, Mr. Malouki. So, Mr. Jazo, coming from Switzerland and being involved in such very huge projects, as you mentioned during your talk, what do you think would be the best strategy for Morocco?
Yes, thank you for that. So, in my opinion, it's all the stuff we discussed now about technology and so on, it's for people, and it's very important that we can find the demand of the people and fulfill this demand. And yes, so for me, I will say the best way to have a clear basement and to start step by step. And yeah, because we have to know, yes, it's for people, as I mentioned, and we have to invest in people that they can use this technology, and we need for this experience. And I think for a government, it's very important to do this experience, to have tested and proved products, technologies, and at the end they can summarize and say, okay, this works, this doesn't work, and then do a very good combination of everything.
Thank you. So the proof of concept doesn't cost that much when we think about the deployment, So I do agree with your point, Mr. Jazzo, that we can start by a proof of concept, and if it works, and if the community and all the ecosystem around is sensitized, then we can continue a step further. But you mentioned that the human, the people, citizens should be at the center, and that makes a good transition for me to the second axis, which is the framework, regulatory framework. So I was reading somewhere that there is a concept of Society 5.0. Society 5.0 is a concept which came out of Japan a few years, and that this concept is focusing on the well-being of putting people and their well-being at the center of all these emerging technologies. And when we think about AI, it's definitely an emerging technology, disruptive technology, not emergent, but it's disruptive technology, which comes with challenges. And the most important challenge for me is the framework, the regulatory framework. So my question, again, if we respect the order, Mr. Mallouki, for ADM, Autoroute du Maroc, what are the mechanisms that ADM is adapting toward this regulatory framework?
First, you mentioned a very important aspect, which is that the customer, the person, the passenger has to be at the heart of all the projects that we implement, and even at the heart of any strategy within an organization that offers services for people. In the case of ADM, we are confident of the importance of conveying clear information. See, the data are very precious for us. We should watch them constantly and revise them ever since the beginning and until the data entry. This is why we have established, and this information is increasing day after day, because as you know, the traffic is increasing 5% a year. And we have also the addition of new types of payment, such as banking cards and other types of payment. So we are using more and more information and data. This is why we have put in place a strategy and a process that allows us to continue to monitor information and data until the end. And we have also launched a big data project in order to use these data and reach conclusions and, as a result, solutions.
Let's continue with the question, and then we're going to give the time to ONCF to answer the two questions at the time, okay? So thank you, Mr. Jazzo, if you want to answer the second question.
Sure. So from my perspective, I have to look at it from the microeconomic perspective, because I'm a company or I work for a company, not from the government side. And yes, for us it's very important to fulfill all this regulation from Switzerland or wherever we have a project. And yes, we also collecting a lot of data. And for example, when let's say a construction company knows how many cars cross a road every day, then they know how is the current situation of this road. Is there a need maybe for repairs or something like this? And this could be critical, because I don't think that the government, for example, want to share everything to everyone. And this is why we build our system on a MIL standard. So our engineers come from the military industry, and for their data security is very important for us.
what are typically the standards and the regulations in Switzerland? I do know that, for example, let me give you the Moroccan example. In Morocco, there is a commission called La Commission de la Protection des Données à Caractère Personnel. And there is, Morocco has already also created a law which aims to protect the data, personal data. So every company in Morocco should comply to this law, and there is a kind of a regulatory organ that which ensure the protection of the personal data. So I would just want to know what is the state of the art in Switzerland from the public perspective, the governmental perspective, and also from your LTS, your company perspective.
So yes, as you mentioned, we also have commissions that check the data security, and they want to assure that not everyone will get the information from every citizens, for example. And yeah, from the citizen side, maybe it's also in Switzerland, it's not so common to have camera installed because the people don't like this, and the government is also looking that not too much camera are installed, just there where it's necessary. And this is something, for example, what is very good for our product because we don't have a camera, but we also like combinations work. And yes, so a Swiss guy, typical Swiss guy, don't want to share everything. He's very concentrated and focused on himself. And yes, this is how it's in Switzerland.
Okay, thank you. So now it's time for ONCF to answer the first question regarding the cost. Mrs. Nassera, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me? I activate. Je vais activer mon micro.
Yes,
C'est bon
do.
là, vous m'entendez? Très bien. Alors, je vais juste rajouter par
So I would just like to add to what was said that today the customer is at the heart of our strategy at ONCF, and today digital transformation is an opportunity for us at ONCF in order to improve customer awareness and customer satisfaction. The customer today can access information through several channels. It's very important for us to define to succeed in our digital transformation, to identify three challenges: the proximity, the simplification, and the digitalization. So we are focusing on all this through a multi-channel process within the digital strategy, so we can enhance relations with the customers and maintain these relations through the several channels that we will be using. So all of the contact channels are being used at the ONCF and will be mobilized in a simultaneous way in order to take the best advantage of this, and in order to look into other prospects of information. So this is the process that we are currently using in order to increase our agility. This is key to our digital transformation. Maybe I should also ask the question in English. It's a very important question. What do you think of the strategy adopted by a country like Morocco that is going through a digital transformation? And so my question was, should we invest at a high scale in the beginning, or we should go gradual step by step and check the proof of concept, the implementation, and then make the necessary changes and corrections so we can step by step implement this, or all in one? What do you think? Actually, I'm with the step-by-step approach. We are developing this strategy while emphasizing this in our strategy by putting forth the necessary solutions. In terms of digital transformation, we have opened several channels. There is a digital ecosystem that should be built, but this goes gradual, step by step, which allows to build on the key factors of success. And amid the technological development, this has to be sustainable. So this is something that takes time to develop. So we go now to the second question.
So according to your talk, Mrs. Nasera, we have witnessed a lot of digitization initiatives going on at ONCF. So what is the mechanism that ONCF has adopted toward respectful toward respecting the integrity, the quality, the quantity of data collected?
In terms of data collection, all the systems that are in use today allow us to make use of the customer data based on the regulatory framework regarding the protection of personal data of passengers. We have also a CRM system that allows us to connect with the several channels of information and enhance customer relations in order to use the system and be able to identify the customers, their needs, so as to provide the necessary solutions. Also, concerning our data and the system of information management, we are using applications that allow us to provide real-time information and notifications. I'm not sure I answered the question.
Definitely, you have answered the questions. And I think we all agree on the fact that there is a public and governmental regulation that we should all comply to. And there is mechanism, institutional mechanism among l'ADEME, l'ONCF, but also LTS in Switzerland, which aim to protect even more, to comply to some, let's say, internal standards. Which is, I think, something very, very good towards the respect of data. I think we're going to conclude by this. Let me thank you all for your experience sharings and very insightful talks. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.